Hey YouTube, what's going on? I want to do a review here on these 3-watt RGB LEDs. I've been messing around with these for a couple weeks now, and it took me a little bit to get them working correctly, and there's not a lot of videos out there on how to get them running, so I'm going to let everybody know how. Basically, these are what you get when you get the ones with the heatsink already installed. They are a little smaller than a quarter, which is nice. I thought they'd be a little bit bigger, but yeah, they're nice. They're nice and compact, and they have a little heatsink built into them. So the heatsink isn't all that great. It's very small. It's very thin. It's just a little bit of aluminum, and you know, I found out later that you're gonna have to add heatsink on them as well. So basically, let me tell you a little about them. RGB LED is a red, a green, and a blue LED, all inside the same cluster. And I think they call them blisters. Basically, the red runs on its own voltage, the green runs on its own voltage, and the blue runs on its own voltage. This here system, the green and the blue, both require the same voltage. That is 3.2 volts. The red needs to be resisted down a little more because it requires only 2.2. If you put 3.2 volts onto it, you're going to burn it out, and you're going to have a little bit of a problem because you won't see any red colors. So basically, you're going to need some resistors. This here is what I ended up doing later, but this here is what I was going to originally do with my system. I'm going to install these all around my deck railing so I can adjust different colors and stuff like that. And I did the calculations. This the red LED, which requires 2.2, when resist down from 12 volts, you need a 33 ohm resistor. I always get the higher wattage. These are 5-watt resistors, which is plenty. Like I said, the 33 ohm resistor will bring 12 volts to approximately 2.2 volts. The blue and the green require the same resistor as they require the same voltage. They are 27 ohm resistors, 5 watts as well. Now this here didn't work as well that I wanted to, because it required these resistors to work way too hard. They got way too hot, even with this aluminum heatsink that you have to install. Basically, all you use is just a piece of aluminum flat stock. That's what I did with all the others. You can get this stuff here at Radio Shack. It is called silicone-based heatsink compound. They come 2 in a package. I think they were like $5 or something like that. Basically, what you're going to do is dab a little bit of this on the back. And because this is not an adhesive, you also use a little bit of super glue. I put a couple dabs of super glue around and then just fastened it to the little piece of aluminum. The resistors were the same thing. You put a little bit of this compound on the back of the resistor and then glue it down. It works pretty well. This one here was the first one I did. It looks like this one's coming up, but... So this here is the next step that I did. I basically put each blister here on its own heatsink with the compound and super glue, and super glued it down. And then you have to run something to run the common. These are common anodes, so this will be the positive. That you need to run the positive by it. And I like using these little JST connectors. I found them on eBay. They're pretty cheap. They have the red, the green, the blue, and the common, and they just snap together pretty easily. Take them apart, snap them together. That's how I'm going to end up using my deck lighting with these guys. So you can see I put these on each end of here. I've got a bunch of them all made up. Basically, they're all the same exact thing. These here are going to be the resistor packages. I've got a couple of these made up for my setup, and this thing here will run 3 or 4 LEDs just with this resistor package. So basically, what I'll do here is I'll set it up real quick and I'll show you how they light. Alright, so this here is 4 LEDs set up in series. Basically, you've got the dimmer here set up, running 12 volts in, and it connects to my resistor package, which then goes to the first light, the second light, the third light, and then the last light. The last light here is just sending the common back. So, alright, so basically what I can do with this dimmer, I can turn on the red. I can make the red really, really bright. I can bring it down. I can turn on the green. And then the blue. If you wanted to make a purple, aqua blue, orange, yellow. The numbers, I believe it's like 16 point something million colors based on what this dimmer can do. It's pretty nice. This is the main reason why I did this, is that I found this here and I thought this would be a great idea. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is off of 4. They are a little bit brighter when you hook 3 up. To do that, I will take this last one off. But it's nothing crazy where you're really going to notice it. You want white, you turn them all on. So this was my original plan here, to hook up my lighting with just one of these guys. I changed my system here, and I eventually got 2 of these. Two of these guys right here. And what those guys do, they are a controller that uses this remote. This remote has a couple built-in settings on it. Basically, the fade and the flash and the quickness of between the two are the main reason why I got these as well. I'm going to be running 2 different sets of colors on my deck. So basically, every other LED will be a different color, whatever I set to it. Unless I wanted them all to be the same color, that would work too. But I want to be able to have different colors on the deck as well if I want. So basically, I'm going to set these up here and I'll show you what they do and in comparison to this. Alright, so I basically got one of these set up right now, turned on. They're all set up inside here. There's 8 LEDs totally wired up, 4 on each of these controllers. They each go into their own resistor package and then go out to their corresponding 4 LEDs. So I'm going to turn one of these on right now just to show you what one of these controllers do. There we go. So they can do basically whatever that 3-knob controller can do. But I can, red, green, blue. A whole bunch of these little colors that are already preset. Kind of nice to be able to not mess with it. And then white is all of them. So the other that there is nice and all. That's not the main reason I got this. The main reason I got this, as well as the 3-knob dimmer, is because of these functions right here: the jump, the fade, and the flash. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the fade 7, which means it's going to fade in and out of 7 different colors. I do believe that is the brightest. It is. Then if you wanted to, you can speed them up or slow them down. Speed them up a little bit, you'll see them start fading. And that's pretty fast. It's almost the same thing as jump. I go to jump 7, that's as fast as that goes. Jump 3. Fade 3. Let's slow that down a little bit. So, now that's one strip of lights. I have another strip set up in here. So all I'm going to do is plug, I'm going to power that off. Turn this on. Okay, now you see they're both lit up here. And this remote does control both of them, which kind of gets rather frustrating. What I'm going to do is power them both on. And I'm going to bring them all the way down to the slowest. Setting. Okay, they're both at the slowest fade setting. I believe they're on fade 7. They are. Now these things, another thing I didn't tell you, when you're pressing the button on the remote, there is a signal light here that says that it is getting a signal from the remote. When you're going the speed or something like that, if you don't see this light flashing, it means it's probably at its highest or lowest speed. So as you see, there's 2 different colors here set up. Let's bring it up a little bit because it's kind of difficult to get their speed to match a little bit. Basically, that's why I bring them all the way down. And then, oh, this one's not. Try this again. Bring them all the way down. And that signal light just went off. Now I should be able to adjust them both at the same time. And their speed should match. And then, if I wanted to, I could turn them all red, or green, or blue. And I think that if I put them both to fade 7, they start at the same color. They do. So then they're going to go basically, one's a little bit earlier, timing-wise, but they're going to follow the same fade. And to fix that, you got to bring them all the way down again. I did it again. Fade 7, all the way down. Just slightly off. One just then what you can do, there's a pause button on here. Just cover one of the receivers up, pause one of them, and then play it. No, of course they're... So another thing that I'm planning on doing, let me shut these off. Another thing I plan on doing is you can technically put a switch on the output for these. And if you don't want, like say you want this one here to fade, but you don't want it to fade in any blue. I plan, where does I put that little switch? I plan on putting a couple of these guys in. This one is a purple one, but I have a red, a green, and a blue LED light. And I'm going to cut the power. I'm going to be able to cut the power between all of these going to the resistors. So then when these are not on, when you're running a fade cycle, it will not put voltage to that corresponding color. So say I wanted one strand of lights to fade red and green, and I wanted the other one to fade blue and red. It will not have the third color in there, and it will allow for different effects. I do believe there will be a moment or two, you gotta have the speed just right, where the lights might turn completely off as it will want, only to put that one color in. But it should be alright. It should be pretty decent to watch, and it should add a little bit more flexibility to your system. So yeah, that's basically it. That's all I've gotten so far. If you have any questions about anything or these lights, you can feel free to email me. Remember to like if this video was helpful, and have a good day.